and welcome lo Nara Media Watch. Media Watch hemi initiative blo Media Association of Solomon Islands, MASI, where we fala come together for sharing the stories we've been covered inside the news and also some fala issues where affecting waka inside the media industry. And as usual, lo panelist or panel blo yumi for this fala edition, yumi gare mogata senior journalist blo yumi lo country with me, and me happy for introducing mogata kam lo program today. On my right, Imegarem Alfred Sasako. Welcome, Alfred.
Thank you.
Then on my left, Imegarem Evan Wasuka. Thank you so much, Evan, for coming on the show today. And of course, me moderator and host Blo Yumilo program, Gina Kekia. Welcome on your fala lo this fala edition. Now, gentlemen, imi come lo a topic of discussions. Before imi go look at the stories where babai or where me interesting, where if I kavam or babai still for kavam or if I kavam finish inside lo whatever news medium you follow him. Alfred, come lo you first time, especially na story where you write him hemi lelevet trigam some fala talk and comments and also response to from Ministry of Health. This fala story na titled Blehem, I almost died from the injection, a woman said, or some not title of that fella story play you. People have been saying that hem irresponsible story play you, hemi no balanced, hem one-sided. What have you got to say, especially as someone when you write even of course story and making front page lo Solomon Star.
Yeah, thank you, Gina. For people who try to, I don't want to use the word, but this word suppress, truth from coming out. I don't expect anything different from Mokata for Talem. I think what needs to be understood is the fact that, number one, we've read about so many cases in Europe, for example, where enforcing many governments law there for suspending now vaccination using this for AstraZeneca vaccine for no using. Now, one perhaps not clear to many people is the fact that this for vaccine and the range of age group where that take him, any vaccine where you may adult you may take him, people must understand that vaccines foreign matter, and when that foreign matter is put into our body, our natural body system will react in such a way. So I guess that's one of the things where happen, Lord, this for a particular incident. And I know of several others. I think there was a police woman where after him taken, she's been resting for almost a week. Yeah, we don't know. I mean, we don't get into the nitty-gritties or details of it. Yeah, but it's important to me for us to ignore even just one case. I think it's totally unfair. Yeah, especially if that person me reach out, come to you and say, hey, me now, something also happen to me, me like you doing something about, kind of same. I don't know that any journalist in his right or her right mind would ignore that kind of call, and I don't think the idea is to frighten of other people. I think people who want to get the vaccine must be aware that there will be certain reactions. And I think that now in Europe, like I said, there is this thing. I think the simple word for him is blood cloth. Yeah, but law. I think a medical term is VDT. Yeah, that's DVT, deep vein thrombosis. Yeah, where me cause him. Blood for cloth and blood him not flow. And so of course, I'm not a medical person, but I've read far too much about many of these things that the older we get, the thicker our blood becomes. And so any foreign matter coming into our body will naturally trigger certain things like that. So I think it's important for people not to just walk in expecting that after kota injecting mo kita, but by no anything happen. Certainly, certain things will happen to you. And I think it's a good thing that people who are coming in should expect that there will be some form of reaction in your body, which might hopefully not get to the worst end of it, which happened in Europe, where one for a 60-year-old him got him blood clot, and as a result him die. Yeah.
But coming back to the ethics of journalism,
Yes.
like they said that the article was one-sided, there was no balance. Like there was no doctor for making any comments inside the article and all that.
True, I agree. I don't know how many times I email mo katalo ministry. I've never received any response. So what na ya? Yeah, why are they doing that? And then, as you know, there was a case, I think it was last year, one doctor had come out, I think Dr. Posala it was, he spoke certain things, and you know what happened to him? They removed him immediately. Now, why are they doing that? Are they hiding something? That is the question. And I think, Gina, you know, and Evan, that you may try for balancing of stories, yeah. Unfortunately, unless you savelo someone where babae may talk to you on condition that nemblohem babae you know out him, it's hard to get anything. Yeah, and unfortunately, that seemed to be what is happening today. The only thing of the good art is to come and crucify the messenger. Yeah, but the messenger might have something important to say. Yeah. So these are the things. I think there should be a balance in there. They should respect the fact that you may too try hard for balancing story, me. But two things they need to remember, in my view anyway. Number one is newspapers and radio stations, they are not bulletin board for anybody. In other words, they cannot wait. Yeah, running a news organization is very determined by time. And so when that time factor is taken into account, there's something in journalism what I call them, go with what you have. Yeah. So if you no respond come, sorry now, we will just have to run that story, yeah, and we'll get your response after. So post story comments have got some value, but it doesn't represent the full picture of any story, including this AstraZeneca.
Thank you, Alfred. And Evan, you've been working in the Pacific newsroom, yeah, per se, and especially Osem Alfred hem talem, yeah, balancing the story, getting the other side for Emilio Solo had a little bit. How I'm like, especially for the Pacific?
Yeah, but about this for a particular story, I think the ideal situation is if we had the woman and then the Ministry of Health response both at the same time, and then the readers can just take both sides into account and balance the story out. So that would have been the good situation, because vaccines, it's one of those topics that people, we in the media want people to take up vaccines, and the government also wants people to do these vaccines. Yeah. But there's also some sort of hesitancy, yeah, they call it, because people don't fully understand what not. So stories like this might discourage people from taking it up. So I think it's one of those ones where you have to find balance, how you report, how you tell the story. With ABC, we've also done stories about AstraZeneca vaccine. There was one case this week, a blood clot. So it is covered. The ABC does its best to balance those stories, get the information out. So we were talking about, should you not publish those type of stories because it's just one case? I think you should, but then the story should be balanced out. Yeah. Now coming to your question about how governments respond to questions from the media, lo solomnalism hard a little bit. I mean, compare with Samoa or Papua New Guinea, where I deal with almost every day. public servants, especially the permanent secretaries, also the other kind of obligation or responsibility for respond to questions and to come back to you, whether through a call or a message or email, or sometimes easier to get a response. Alfred's story, that response came a day later, where the Ministry of Health said that a woman was unwell before she had the vaccine. So I think, so that's why this was the question.
Yeah, I think if story blow Alfred no come out, but I had for this statement come out, and of course this public forum I got to hold him too,
Yeah.
especially for explaining more in detail.
I think a lot, if that story had not been published, I think there would have been a lot of assumptions, that things were going well. But because we as the media, we have not been given the opportunity to ask questions. Because I know there's a lot of questions of mind plus Taka people.
And we're seeing this with the slow take-up of the frontliners. In the first 3 days, let's say 600 vaccines have been administered out of the 7,000. So it means Staka people don't understand and whatnot, this vaccine, why they're going to take it. And that comes back to the Ministry of Health and their awareness, pushing that message about what this vaccine is, what I'm doing for you, how it will protect you and your family. But that's obviously not happening. I think at the last count, 2,000 are taken vaccines. Out of the 7,000, that's still a lot. But it's not a problem only for the Solomons in PNG. The situation is much
bigger.
Yeah,
that's right.
Comes back down to messaging from the Ministry of Health and the government.
But to me, the most disappointing thing about this whole thing is the fact that in Solomon Islands today, and particularly in the public sector, there's more media personnel in there to handle these things on behalf of the government than any other time in the history. Like Prime Minister has his own press secretariat. We don't get anything from them.
Except press releases.
Is there a gap of miscommunication or no communication at all between Nokatamania? Because they're supposed to be the frontliners in terms of disseminating or spreading, government side of the story, lawyer, but you don't get it. I think quite a lot of them tried their best, but they're not getting it from the people who matter either. That's the difficulty.
I think that's one of the things where I have been kasih MASI, especially public servants and of course ministers, ogat no save what na role blo media. And usually ogat garam induction tam ogata entam parliament. I mean when they first got elected, induction them happen, but most times takalokata new member okat no attend him to induction where media am one for the component inside to law induction law okata.
Exactly.
So we boil down normal lack of understanding lo wakablo media. So that's the why you may find him hard a little bit to get through. But then you may think that having those PR officers inside by him helping you for accessing the information better, but him no that case too also.
I think it might be a lack of confidence in government officials for to talk out, state their opinion and their even though that this is the area where to specialize in or to survey what they're talking about, but there is a bit of hesitancy that they might not be saying what's coming from the top in line with what's coming from the top.
I agree, Moffat. I think Evan, because there's a lot of reluctance on the part of senior officials to speak out because they may not be saying the things that other bosses like him to be said. And so, okata too fright for losing job loketa. I mean, this particular person where the story and baseline, when I got the call from her.
So I'm calling you.
Yes. And I'm saying that, hey man, call some midaya. Yeah. And then him say, you, how old are you? Him say, me 38, yeah. Say, why not you go? Oh, because of Mifala ministry, there's a threat by the PM that if Mifala no go for taking vaccine, but I'm losing job lo Mifala. So, even government officials, I know the enthusiasm to try and get things done, and that's good. But I think there ought to be another side of it too, yeah? That number one factor to be considered is education level, yeah? People don't understand a lot of things, yeah? And so, this kind of mentality in the colonial days where what the government says goes, yeah? So if they have that kind of, attitude, look at that. Even if you tell them to jump over the cliff, but I do him no more, yeah, because you ask him, if I'm survive and you ask him, I am say, oh my, what the boss not talent, will do him. So me thinking, me, I'm also, yeah, there must be a way to do these things, because this is just the beginning of this whole thing. We don't know. We don't know how far and how bad it could get in this place. What we are doing now is basically scratching the surface of what might happen next year. And so there ought to be a better framework for communicating, not just talkback show. Talkback show, it's a one-way street. No one has an opportunity to ask questions that matter. For example, I've been told that lo talkback show here, people got a ring come. There's one senior official from the media section law PMO. He vetted every question. Only question him or to like him no more, but I got to give him for all the money for answer him. No, that's not fair. Yeah, whether you like him question or no more, you have an obligation, to answer those questions. So.
Then any press conference too, yeah, for the media?
Unfortunately, no.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And do you think that media should be asking questions through the talkback shows?
My personal view is that this talkback show should have a panel where what are facing what the media people. Yeah? Because, well, when you look at it, we are supposed to be the mouthpiece and the ears of those who have not had the opportunity to come and face him or the money. So I think it is fair that they should be there. I mean, I don't mind facing those guys because I always take the heat. Yeah, but I'm glad I'm doing it because it's raising discussion. If story no come out, we wouldn't have discussed it. Yeah, and people would think that everything all right no more. Yeah, but yeah. So it's interesting thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is the AstraZeneca vaccine.
Yeah.
The one where it's come out most parts of the world, what we're getting through COVAX. What's going to happen when we go into the Chinese
one?
Yeah. I mean, will we still get, will there be confidence in it? I mean, these issues need to be dealt with right now. So far, it's the public servants. But what happens when you go to the rural areas?
Exactly, yeah.
Public servants are educated. They're outside, what inside, and what the program is. They're having doubts. What about the people in the villages? So
Yeah.
those messaging and communication needs to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think, Alfred, you've got some full of papers there. Care to share with us what you have there on the table with you?
You may have him go some follow now. Yeah, thanks, Gina. Basically, one thing I here is what a summary along what the budget where government think for using this year. Yeah, and as you know, it's about $4+ billion now government by spending this year. There's a lot of talks about the credibility of the figures, yeah, because when you look at these papers, one of what the base in Lohem is, and someone has, I think, appropriately described this budget outlay as a cut and paste, like 2020 last year, or what's to take him come now actual Lohem. How much money did the government spend him? Yeah, for example, and that actual should include a supplementary budget. Well, using lohem, and using that as a base, then you do estimates for this year. That has not happened. They still use estimates. Yeah. And so I've got two papers here. This is the budget summary, expenditure, revenue, and all that. And then you have this much talked about redirection policy block government, where we try for addressing now mismatches in policies before. And why now those policies were not implemented, or why now have no worker. Now when you look at this document here, the figures are totally different. The intentions of this one are different too.
So that was what was in the your article last article in Solomon Star.
That's
about
right.
the mismatch.
Yeah, there's a huge mismatch. One of the things I would like for introduce him now is they want to in the tourism sector, for example, they want to introduce as part of the ESP a 5-year tax holiday for that. Now, the question arises now, Mosem. Is this for those who missed out? Those in the tourism sector? Or miss out law ESP? Or is it for all of them? Then one fella disturbing word na me find them long documented too. Law agriculture, yeah? Where him say that in talking about helping farmers and all these things, yeah, law agriculture. Very interesting where he got to say, yeah? Let me read that particular sentence, yeah? And to me, disturbing. Him say, yeah? To support our farmers to be able to afford and obtain tools, this is for buying shuffles and whatever, the government is looking at reducing duty rate for agricultural implements to make them more affordable. The government will also continue to provide direct financial support to farmers, and this is the word, that deserve it. What kind of farmers on Solomon Island now no deserve this kind of assistance from government? So when you look at it, you begin to see that this whole thing, or the hidden political intentions inside here. You deserve it. You are a deserving farmer to get that. But me thinking, government employee me Solomon Island everyone, yeah?
Everyone deserving.
Yeah.
Okay. For you, for accessing more the documents too, like unless you got a good contacts, and then you'd be able to have the documents. But then otherwise, I got stories where already being a journalist, but you saw that's very interesting for you for pick him out, got the stories inside, and then for accessing what the people for ask him questions. But then coming back to the Osamimi Talem earlier today, that accessing those people for respond questions Yumi hem hard too for like example if you
balancing
for balancing more story or also too for little bit elaborate further more what na you meaning by this one kind of say little bit hard. And for you Evan, having heard through one Alfred hem share him here, would you be interested to follow up or do your own diggings into the
definitely. But it's really good now that Alfred and Solomon they've gone in and they're looking into the budget, questioning the policies and the breakdown and having a look at it, because that's a really difficult thing to do. It's something we've been trying to encourage and to do more, but it's really hard how we do here, our system. Like in some places, you'll have a budget lockdown. The night before you go in, you'll get all the documents, the budget, and you have access to officials. But you're not allowed outside of the room. You can write about it and report it, but only when it comes out in Parliament, and they let you out. Maybe we need to look at something like that here. Just to have these documents accessible to everyone, and it's more transparent, and you can see what's happening in the documents.
System me a little bit. I think media had not really put him over inside of that one.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you introduced this whole thing that there ought to be some understanding from members of parliament that apart from being legislators, or they're supposed to be, okata garem a responsibility, duty for informing okata people blogata. And they should look at the media as an asset. Well, that's how we use him to work together. I mean, I can only point to an example, in which I was involved in, like when I was recruited to join the Pacific Forum Secretariat in Fiji in 1991. One of the biggest problems of the Shom Lumina is that how the forum leaders by work with the media. There's a big problem. And then you have this colonial type person where he's Secretary General in the name of Naisali, from Tuvalu. He doesn't want to have anything to do with the media. And that gave me a lot of... So in the end, I said to him, we can work with the media. They can help us. They can promote our programs. So if you a little bit open them door for always blow you, someone asks for an interview, you let him come in, it will work. And I think at the end of my contract, the 6 years here, what's his name? The former president of Kiribati, Tabai. He wrote a letter to thank me that before me come, the media covering the forum was a sad affair. Everybody was chased out by senior officials and all that. But he said, when I left, that I had brought dignity to the thing. So it's not that could not be done here. It can be done, but you need to have a understanding. And members of parliament have a duty to understand because they have a responsibility for answering what the questions here, where people in rural area no got an opportunity for asking. I think that's one of the biggest advantage. Unfortunately, perhaps we still have a long way to get there.
Well, gentlemen, I think imi call sa kasim endlo program lo yumi just wrap up nama your final comments, especially lo discussions play yumi lo today. I'll start with you, Evan, and then Alfred, and then we end our program.
I think my final comments on the side of vaccines. It's an important part lo country, and as we roll out more vaccines, messaging and the communication side is really important, and the media are there. So I think my play with the Ministry of Health is to keep on engaging with the media, use the media to tell people about the vaccines, to encourage people to take it up. And as we move away from the front line, as we start to vaccinate those in the rural areas, I think our role becomes more important. So I hope that this will continue to grow and improve.
Thank you, Evan. And you, Alfred?
Two things, Norma. Number one is that there certainly is a need to ensure that everyone has got the sort of information they need to know about this. And number two is, I think both the Ministry of Health and Medical Services and the Office of the Prime Minister ought to be proactive in rolling out the framework for this or the different vaccines that we will certainly be getting. So I think the onus is on them, and I think the media. I am sure we are here to help. We're not trying to act as enemies. We are trying to say to them, if you open up, we will get much more of your program rolled out in terms of information dissemination in the rural area than anywhere else. I don't think there's anyone else whereby you look up to. So no good seeing us an enemy. We need to come together and do this thing because it's for our national interest. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Thomas, gentlemen, for your time, lo Media Watch this week, and our viewers play me, our gentleman lo program today, hemi Alfred Sasako and Evan Wasuka. Imi must thank you mogata for come sit down with him lo this fala show. Me fala hope whatever me fala share him come and help him you fala too for understanding waka when media hemi do him, especially to with him this fala important face lo rollout lo vaccination hemi come. Me fala hope by government looks have it to lo media, especially waka when blame and try for make him filling in this fala gap wahem lo there between media and of course officials play yumi lo government. But until then, next time weba mi fala kamo for sit down with mi fala mi jina kekia on behalf lo Media Association of Solomon Islands, this all program hemi initiative lo MASI. Thank you mi fala for stop with mi fala. You fala have him a blessed week ahead. Thank you.